we are going to be using this actix template. And using this template, we are going to go ahead and create a new repository out of this. So let me back up for a second. With this template, you get a working API with testing, with a GitHub action so that you can run your integration test on the server. So it's extremely useful. So let's go ahead and create a new repository. So let's call it a actix calculator. Boom. Done. I have a typo, I realize that, but let me just fix it. Boom. Fixed. Over. Now we are going to go ahead and clone this locally, and I'll give you like a quick walk around. Code, actix, calculator. Let's see what we get here. So you'll see that we have a folder. We have a folder with the actix API. And this is where all our server code will be. Amir, thank you, man. I was completely dropping the ball here, so I appreciate it. Then we have the dbmate folder. dbmate is used to create a database and to manage migrations for us. So we won't be touching that a lot today. Then Docker contains all the Docker compose and all the images required to test and to run our server both locally and on CI. And we also have types. Types is a repository used to store the types that are shared between the backend and the UI. And finally, we have our UUI template. So it's like a full stack application. Today, we are going to focus on actix API. And being a test-driven project, we're going to start by writing the test. So the template already contains a file called server that is pre-configured with all the tests that you need. Let's go ahead and yeah, so this is looking great. So this sample test is very easy. It just sends a GET request to hello/Dario, and then it like calls that with no parameters, and we have an assertion. The assertion is that the server returns a 200 for it, and we also assert that the body contains a JSON with this shape. So I think this is pretty powerful. So let's go ahead and you know what? Let's go ahead and run it. So there's a make. We use a Dockerized build. So you can run this with make test. And let's see what happens. Let me look at the chat. So Micah says that Axiom is better. You know, I will disagree with that, but I think Axiom is really good. But despite the hype, I do think that actix has better tooling and much more mature tooling, and because of that, I am going to double down on Axiom. I will also do Michael? I'll also do a tutorial on Axiom, but so far I do like actix a lot better. But you know, it's a matter of personal preference, in my opinion. So okay, so we were able to run the tests. So the tooling is all set up, everything works. Now let's go ahead and start writing the API. We are going to have an endpoint called. So Mohammed is asking, do we use Docker to init a test database? We do, Mohammed. And as a matter of fact, let me back up for a second here and just show you how Docker is set up to do this. So you see that Docker Compose has a few services in, And one of them is a database, which is pretty amazing in my opinion, because it means that our test encompass our actix API, the database, and I can also throw in Redis if we want it, which is pretty powerful. The reason why I use this pattern is because the delta between what I'm testing on my computer and what I run in production becomes very small. So the intention with this is to create integration tests that are as close to production as possible. So let's see. Let's go ahead and start with the first test, which is going to be multiplication. And we are going to deal with all the edge cases. But right now, we just want to set like a basic test here. So multiplication. And we are going to send up, basically, we're going to pass the arguments to the multiplication or the operands as JSON. How about that? So we are going to create a post request then. So we are going to create a post request, and then we need to pass let me see how to pass a here. Probably there's a way to set the body. Is that so? Well, that's pretty awesome. So did you see that? By the way, okay, I want to create another poll here, but this is important. I think I need to remove this one. Well, let me see this poll. Okay, so regarding the language poll, that Rust, unsurprisingly, is the most popular language here, and we also have Node. Actually, Node and Rust got the same number of votes, which is very, very interesting, but this helps me a lot. But let me just create another poll real quick, which is, I want to know what's your take on AI. My question is, do you use ChatGPT on a daily basis? And the reason why I need you to provide this feedback here is because I use it all the time, and it's just so helpful for me to like bounce some ideas and test. But with that said, we were able to create our payload using AI. I did not type this stuff. Maybe it's wrong. I'm not sure. Let's see. Method not found. Okay, so AI is lying. So we're just going to pull the actix API, actix test API, set JSON. We want to see how to set a JSON in the payload. This is to set JSON in an actix test API. Let's see. Yeah, now people are asking for this. Send JSON. Let's see which method we have available here. Well, let's mutate the request first, because here we are calling the API on 17, so this will be too late. Let's see. So we established that here, like this is too late, but let's see. Okay, so request, no method name set found in the current scope. So it's asking us to pin this. This is a little bit odd, but let's see. Okay, we need to import pin, unsurprisingly. Expected request. No. This is, this is going sideways. Let's not do this. So what we're going to do right now to keep the stream going is I am going to just pass the arguments as query parameters. So multiplication, A equals to 3 and B equals to 4. How about that? I don't want to like start experimenting on stream. Obviously, this is going to fail because we did not even define a handler for multiplication. So we get a 404, which makes sense. Let me just look at the stream here. Thoughts on actix? Extremely similar to actix, but much faster. Skyline, I will have to take a look. I'm just not familiar with it. But I promise to take a look at Skyline, and thank you for your question. Let's see, we got another question here. Regarding integration test, there's a nice crate called test containers to spin up a database per test as a container individually, combined with serial test crate. Really helpful. I agree. This sounds like very in line with what we're doing here. So definitely it's worth taking a look. So we got a 404 because we didn't create the handler for this web service. So let's go ahead and just do that. So I created a library here. Let me just reduce the font size a little bit because it's too large. But the template gives you some handlers by default to do OAuth, which is fine. But for our we need to create some more. We need to create a few more handlers here. So we are going to create, I think I'll call it multiplication, and we are going to request 2 query parameters. So let me just ask real quick how to get query parameters in actix. So I'm just asking ChatGPT. Okay, so in actix web, query parameters can be deserialized into a Rust struct using the web query extractor. So we are going to define a struct called myQuery, and then we are going to pass that to the handler. This sounds very easy. Let's just do that. So there you go. Both are going to be, we are going to do with integers just to make it simple. And go from there. So let's implement our multiplication here. So we are going to pass a web query here, my query. We are going to rename it, of course. But what do we want this web service to reply? So chat, Mohammed, Amir, Michael, what do you guys think we should just return the response of the operation? Like if it's a multiplication of 4 by 4, we'll just return a 16, or would you like me to return a JSON? Okay, so string, struct, integer, Interesting. There's a mixture of opinions here. I'm just going to open a poll real quick. So let me create a poll. Return a JSON. Yeah, let's go with that, Mohammed. Return a. Okay, so the response, love it, Mohammed. We are going to return a JSON with a result. Okay, so I'm just going to call the whole thing a result, and I'm going to put yeah, let's put another integer in there. We know that this won't work for some operations because with integers we cannot handle decimals. So what we know that going in, it's fine. We'll figure it out as we go. And I'm going to implement all the Sergey JSON serializable traits, so we can parse JSON and write JSON. So we said, let me just call this calc result. Ooh, okay, this is great. So what we're going to do is parse. Yeah, there you go. The AI figured it out. Awesome, that was easy. Okay, we need calc result to implement responder. Well, just do it. What was the trait exactly? So luckily we already have a sample that we used. So prior to me modifying the template, we had a type called hello response. Hello response. So these are all the traits that I had to add to be able to respond with a JSON. So I'm just going to add them. We're going to import all these things. And we're going to take a look at the compiler. Okay, let me just back up here for a second to see what I was originally returning. So if I go to the template and I look at what I was returning originally, we see that I was just responding with JSON of the struct that I wanted to reply with. So this looks fine. Let's see what we are missing here. And then if we look at hello response itself, does it implement any other trait that I didn't see previously? Let's see. No, it doesn't. Just have to make sure that it implements serialize and deserialize. Cool. All right, let's see what happens here. So we need to implement serialize, deserialize. Cool. Okay, this is better. So now the error I got is that I deleted the grid web service. So obviously this won't work. Instead, we are going to add our multiplication service. 100% test driven. Seems like we got it to compile. Sometimes, hey guys, sometimes the errors in the errors that the cargo compiler will give you are trash. Okay, so we and that's because I made it a post request when it's a get request. Also, notice how we are passing the parameters. We are passing A and B here. What are we doing down here? Are we naming the parameters the same? No, we are naming the parameters 1 and 2. So let's fix that because we know that won't work. And let's run again the test. Let's see what we got. We need to get an error, but we need to get further, actually. Wonderful. So it panicked at line. So it panicked while trying to deserialize the response because we said that was going to be of type hello response when in fact it's going to be of type a calc result. So let's fix this. 100% test driven, my friends. And what do we expect the result to be? I'm just going to put 35. I know it's the wrong. I know that this should be a 12. So 3 multiplied by 4 is equals to 12. But I'm just going to put a bad number here. And I think we said I16. Yeah, I16. And it doesn't know where this type is. We are going to import it. Run it again. Oh, it's I32. Fine. Let's see what we get here. I'm happy that you guys are also on board with ChatGPT. This is fantastic. This is very encouraging. So we got it. But this is interesting because, okay, so if we put 12, it works as expected. If I put some other number, let's see what we get. We should get an error, actually. Fantastic. So if I put the wrong multiplication result, I get my test fails as it should. So this is pretty dope. So what are some edge cases that we want to test? So we want to test for what happens if what happens if I use like multiplication by 0 will work, but what will happen if I pass a decimal here? So if instead of passing, well, we'll just leave this test alone. This test is successful. We'll just go ahead and create another test. We'll just go ahead and create another test. But so far this is going great. We got that test to pass. Now let's pass another. Let's create another test here. So the next test is going to be negative numbers. So, well, now negative will work, but we know that if we pass decimals, we know that the current code will fail, right? So let's see what the service returned. But 3.5 multiplied by 4 should be actually 14. So let's multiply by something weird. Yeah, so we want to pass decimals so that our test fails. We literally want to break our own code. And then we'll talk about how to round and so on and so forth. Because comparing floats in Rust is actually not that trivial. You need to do something special about it. That's all I want to say. Like we overflows, we want to do a few things here. So test. Let's test with this. 3.5 multiplied by 4.3. We know right off the bat that our type won't work because integers do not allow decimals. So we'll have to modify our result to be a F32. Oh yeah, let's test Mohammed. Let's test. So I didn't modify the. You know what? Before changing the code from a test-driven development, the right thing to do is just to try. So I won't change the code. So for a second here, I32. Okay. Let's just go ahead and call it. My guess, Mohammed, is that the server will... It didn't even compile. All right, because I cloned the handler. Sorry, let me call the test something else with decimals. Yeah. So we got a test that... And then let's see what happens with the second test. So we got an error. Great. We got a 400. So 400 means bad request, which is great. I think this is what you want. So from a HTTP standpoint, we are telling the client, hey, listen, you're sending me a bad request. Why? Because I cannot parse these decimals into as integers. So that's good. So let's go ahead and change the type. So we are going to change the A and B to be floats. So F32s will do for now. And with the response will be F32 as well. These will break. And let me just check something real quick. How do I assert equality with floats in Rust? Because I don't remember how to do that. Because you can, like, with floats, you always have rounding errors because of the way that floating point arithmetic works. So let's see what's the recommendation here. Okay, so you just epsilon. That's what you do. So you say, well, are these numbers close enough? That's what you do. And so what you are testing is like, are these two numbers close enough? That's it. This is wonderful. I mean, this is amazing. Hey, Israel. Happy to see you, my friend. So Israel is a General Motors engineer, and he's always supporting the channel. So thanks, my friend. So Mohammed is saying, do we get a message along with it telling us what the correct type is? We do not. We do not. So we just get a 400 error. So, and I bet you that HTTP 400 meaning is just bad request. That's all you get. That's what you get out of the box. Of course, we could modify it to make it better, but that's what you get right now. So Major Raw Dog. I'm not sure if I'm going to get demonetized by for using your handle name, Major Raw Dog. That's pretty cool. So let's do this. Now that we know that we need to change our return types, now we need to go back and fix our test. Because these won't work anymore. These won't work. Because the way that we are comparing the result, it just doesn't work with floats. Which is fine. What we are going to do here is we are going to use AI. Let's see if AI figures it. So here's a trick to try to use AI to write the code for you. So compare body.result with 12 using an epsilon. Boom. Okay, that did the trick. See, I think that might just work. So did you guys see what I did? I just told AI how I wanted to compare the floats, and it just figured it out for me. I think this is fantastic. Mohammed, we will need a round function anyways. Yeah, so this is effectively kind of doing that, to be honest with you. So let's see what we get here. It won't even compile because Rust being Rust, it noticed that we are still using floats. We were using integers, so that doesn't work. Fantastic. So one of the tests pass, I think. Yeah, one of the tests did pass. The other one failed. This is wonderful. So we can use the same pattern that we use here. Yeah, so we can do rounding like you said, Mohammed, or we can do with like an epsilon, which is fine. Either way. What was the... Oh yeah, we were trying to get 15.05. Let's see. Okay, that warning is really annoying me. So let me just these mutables here. Fantastic. So now tests are passing. Now, Mohammed, since you have been helping me since the beginning, which operation should we go for next? Like you have division, you have addition, subtraction. What should we do next? I hope you. I secretly hope that you say division, but let's see. I know that there's a small delay in chat. Addition. Okay, let's do addition then. So we're going to create another test. And then I bet you that AI is going to write half of it if we just prompt it properly. If we say test addition, check this out. I don't even have to type anything, I feel. Okay. I'm telling you, this is so good that it's scary. So I didn't type anything. AI, so this is GitHub Copilot. It looked at the context of my test and it figured out the next logical thing to write. So we are going to go ahead and run it. It's going to fail, but I'm just trying to prove a point here. Oh, it's an async function. Gotcha. Async function. There's a little bit of boilerplate that is annoying me with all this like database setup and stuff. A little bit verbose, I acknowledge that, but let's see what we get. We should get a 400. Okay, so we test addition failed. Unsurprisingly, because we need to define a handler for addition. So let's just go ahead and do it. So if we go to our handlers here, check this out. AI understands what I'm trying to do, and it just figures out the rest of the code. Now we go back to our test. So we defined the addition handle. Let's go to run it again. All right, let's go. Let's go Docker. So addition failed, and the error was 404. So 404 means that, oh, check this out. This is interesting. I defined the handler, but you need to add the handlers to the server. So that's my bad here. So you need to go down here and add the new handler here. Just like Express. I'm having so much fun. The reason why I'm having so much fun is because of you guys. Like you guys really make the live stream. So thank you for sticking around with me this on this Saturday. So we got all 3 tests to pass. Is there something like before all or before each to make the setup? That's a great question. So I bet you that there is. I bet you that there is. Let's see. Let me see. Is there before each for actix tests? For regular Rust test, the answer is definitely yes. Let me see for actix. Maybe there's something. By the way, I'm using my my GPT Rust body that I built. I hope that you guys take it for a spin and we can make it better together. However, you can achieve similar functionality by running setup code at the beginning of each test. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's disappointing. Sure. So here, what they are telling us is that at least what I could do is define a setup method, which is not exactly what Mohammed, I know exactly what you wanted to see, and seems like unfortunately does not support it at the moment, but I'll look into it after the stream. So let's move on. Let's do the next one. So we got addition, subtraction. Do we want to test for overflows? So I think this is an interesting scenario. So let's test for overflows. So we can add with overflow actually. So we want to test async function addition with overflow. Let's see. All right. This is not addition with overflow. So what we are going to do to test overflows is, sure, we'll add the test like this, but there's this to get the max F32 called, yeah, there you go. So these will give us the maximum float that is supported, and then we're going to add one to it, and I think that this will make the handler crash. So let's test. This is too good, guys. This is too good. So it figured out what I wanted to do. Why is it wrong? Is there like an extra? All right, yeah. Into. No. Expected stir. Oh yeah, for the whole argument. All right, I gotcha. So you can say into. Wonderful. Okay, here's what we want to test. We want to make sure that when we try to add one to maximum, it does not crash, which I think it will right now. The response should be 1. Because the F32 is going to overflow and wrap around. What we expect is the response to wrap around. Let's see what it does. Make test. It says that the trade, it doesn't know how to convert it. Fine. I think I can just pass this, and that will do it. Yeah, that did it. Okay, let's see what happens. I think the server is going to crash. Did it crash or not? Running, assertion failed. So what did we get instead of this? So we know that the assertion failed, but what was the actual error? What did we get back from the server? Let's see. Assert equal. Fine. I just want to see what the server returned, and then we'll make our assertion better. Well, I didn't save it, so that doesn't help. Okay. Interesting. The test passed now? So it means that if to add 1 to max32 is just going to return max32. Interesting. Is that the expected behavior? That's pretty interesting. But that does not sound right, to be honest with you. I actually want the addition to wrap around. So I think add with overflow with wrapping, I think. Yes, this is what I meant to. This is what I want the API to do. It's not possible to do it. Let's ask GPT. I thought you could add with wrapping. How to add with wrapping in Rust. Probably I need to use a wrapping number or something. Let's see. Oh, that's defined only for integers. If you want to perform addition that wraps around on overflow, you can use the wrapping add. So this is not valid for. How about for floats? So basically, it's just that's not how it works. Looks like. I love how my questions are completely broken, but ChatGPT still gets it. It's like I'm training it for my broken English, which is amazing. In Rust, floating point types do not have a wrapping add because float point arithmetics in Rust already follows IEEE 754 standard, which specifies the when operations result in values that are out of the representable range. For floating point numbers, when an operation results in a value that exceeds the maximum representable value, it will result in positive or negative infinity. And if the operation results in a value below the minimum representable positive number, it will result in 0. Wonderful. Still worth testing. And I love how the compiler is like not even wasting time with my bad code. I just love it. So there you go. So the reason why we are getting the maximum, because that's how the standard is defined, which I think it's wonderful. Every day I'm just falling in love with Rust even more. Let's see. Oh, Mohammed. Oh, Mohammed, you're saying that it should return the minimum? I think it should return the minimum if the result is below. Basically, if, let me just quote from here. Check this out. If the operation results in a value below the minimum representable positive number, it will result in 0. So we'll exercise this when we do subtraction. Let's just do subtraction now. Okay, let's do subtraction. And it will become clear when we do subtraction. That, Mohammed, that scenario that you're talking about, it will show up in just 1 second here. So subtraction, and that AI will just do everything for me. Done. We'll do the naive thing, but we'll make it fancier. So let's add one more test here. Sorry about the mess. Let's just remove this, and let's add another test. Async function test subtract. Do the thing, AI. There you go. So lazy. Okay, so here we're seeing 3 minus 4 equals minus 1. So let's just test the happy path. Oh, I didn't add the... This will fail, but that's okay. I'll tell you why in a second. Why did it fail? Because once again, I created the handle here, subtraction, but I never added the handle here, so that doesn't help. There you go. No, there's no arguments. All right, let's run it again. Sorry about those warnings. I'll go ahead and take care of them right now because they are annoying me. Fantastic. So we got the API to do subtraction, which is great. We'll go ahead and remove this because we are no longer using it. And also this pin gone, and this pin here, because yeah, cool. I just dislike warnings a lot. So now we are going to test what you just mentioned, Mohammed. We are going to try to underflow. I think it's called underflow. Let's see what happens when we try to underflow. So test is subtraction underflow. Come on, AI. I know that you get it. There you go. Okay, so let's break it down because we are saying take the minimum F32 and then subtract that. So this should result trying to subtract 1 from the minimum representable value should return just in per this IEEE standard that we were looking at. We should just get the minimum F32 value back. So let's true. Is there a way to have actix the handler automatically? I think so. Yeah, like iterate through it or something. Yeah, absolutely. Test subtraction underflow. Let's ask ChatGPT. How can I add all the handles automatically to my actix server right now? I am adding them by hand and it sucks. Come on. Come on, Rust buddy. You can do it. It's rocking it. It's thinking about it. You can do it. You can do it, my friend. In actix web, if you have many handlers and you want to avoid the tedious task of, you can do it. Manually adding them. Oh, you can create a macro. You can use macros or a separate configuration functions to help automate the process. Macros. So, boom. You can do it. So you can create a macro. We'll get back to this, Mohammed, but I think it's a fantastic question. So, we're almost there. What I love about this exercise, guys, is that we are truly doing test-driven development, and I feel this is very, very valuable. So let's add the next one. AI. I know there's just one more test or one more operation we need to ask to support. So just do it for me. Okay, test division. Come on, I don't want to type AI. Okay, this is great. It figured out everything we want to do. It figured out our intention, which is fantastic. We know that this test is going to fail, so let's not bother. Why? Because we didn't implement the division handler. So let's go ahead and implement it. So the division handler get division. Come on. There you go. And we are going to try dividing by 0. We are going to try all the weird stuff, of course. So now they are not going to get us again. They are not going to get us again. Division. Fantastic. So now we can go ahead and test it. Abdelila I'm currently creating is asking. I'm currently creating an actix API for a school management system with CORM as the backend. Any tips for writing auth middleware or any other middleware? Yeah, the tip I'll give you for middleware is to use my template. I figured out auth, and I already integrated all the stuff that you need. So we'll just pause from the product for a moment. So check this out. So this is a product that I made with a friend, and is based on the same template. I show it to during this demo. So if you use the actix web template, you get access to this OAuth client. So we just back up for a second. If you go to net.com, this website is made with my template, and this is application I'm making with a friend. And if you click login and all that good stuff, boom, OAuth. You get OAuth for free. So yes, please do consider using the actix U template that I created. Moving back to our test division stuff, we are going to do division by 0. We have to do it. I forgot if division by 0 is infinite or no, it's undefined, I think. Okay, this is great. So basically, okay, this is interesting, guys. We are near the end here, but division by 0 should return undefined, I think. Division by 0 is undefined. Yeah, so it is an undefined behavior. So I know this won't work. Abdelila is asking, where can I find the template? So Abdelila, here it is. Let me just share it with you. I'll hook you up, my friend. Boom. There you go, my friend. So this test, I'm telling you guys, is going to fail because we didn't implement an error that is division by 0 or something like that. So let's just run it. So following the test-driven development mentality, we are going to just run it and see what happens. What's going to happen is we'll get an error back, but I'm not sure what the error is going to be. Okay, division by 0 failed. So the error is that in our test fixture, we are saying that we should return a 400, but we did accept the operation. We did accept it. Accept the arguments, and that's why we returned a 400. And just out of curiosity, I want to see what is the default behavior for dividing by 0. I think it should be. Well, I don't have to guess. I just need to see it. Yeah, let's see. I think we're going to get something interesting here. So I'm going to assume that probably the default is to give you. I'm just going to say 0. Doesn't matter. It's not this anyways, so might as well. Body not found. All right. Sure. Let me just read the body. Right. Let me just comment. So all we are doing is. Oh. I'm destroying my own test here. Yeah, here. So what I want to see is what does the body return right now. Assert equal. Yeah, we know it's going to be not a number, but let's Rust handles this. I have no idea. Not a number. Let's see. So we are trying to figure out what we got back. So we were not able to parse. Let's see what we got here. So 139. We were not able to parse the response. Let's see what we got. I know we got an error. I just don't know what the error is. So we're just going to see. What is it? Null? I did not expect that. That's interesting because if we look at our division service, what the hell? Wow, this is a curveball. Who expected the server to return null? I certainly didn't. So, anyways, these when whatever number Rust put in here was serialized as null. So that's pretty unexpected, but it's not what we wanted in anyways. We're just going to add a rule. If division by 0 then return. If division by 0 then return 400. Oh, snap. Because we are returning a JSON of a calculation result, we cannot return the 400 error. We'll need to change our response type so that we can customize the headers, I think. So I think we'll need to implement response. We'll need to take a step back here and look at how to return a 400 error. It's just that if in your handler you just say, I just want to return a JSON of my type, that implicitly tells actix that you are not trying to change the HTTP status. Yeah, exactly, Mohammed. I didn't know that Rust had a null. Yeah, I bet you that this is a serialization error. This is 100% a serialization error. Like maybe something blew up internally in Rust. Like I think doesn't that make Rust panic? Let's see. Rust REPL. Let's just no. This is going to annoy me as well, Mohammed. Let's get to the bottom of this. Screw it. Cargo new deep by 0. Yeah, no. We need to get to the bottom of this. So I'm just going to create a different project just for us to test our sanity, because this is me. So we'll do we'll just do divided by 0. What does this give you? Divide by 0. So the compiler won't even let you do it. Okay, so yeah, so the compiler won't even let you do a divide by 0. All right, so that worked. What we got here? We got infinity. We got infinity. So infinity is serialized to JSON as null. That's funny, but now we know. Gilbert. So Gilbert seems like Rust serializes infinity as null for some reason. So whatever, I get it. This is very interesting. How do we change this though? I want to, so let me just tell. So one thing about GitHub Copilot is you can prompt it through the Rust comments. So here we can say returns. Yeah, we want that. If yes, if v0 returns a 400 error. Yes, that's what I want. Now it needs to use a different type to do this, because we need to be able to modify the headers of the response. So this won't work. That's all right. I have some other examples here, I think. Yeah, I think we need to get. I think we need the HTTP response. So if we use if instead of returning a result of HTTP response, if instead of returning a JSON, we return an HTTP response, then we have a chance to customize the headers. So you know what? Let's just do that. So response builder is like a lower level entity that we can use to control the response. So let's just do that. So for division, we are going to return a result or HTTP response or an error. And here we are going to, yes, we are doing the thing. But now we won't be able to use this nice syntax moving forward. We are going to have to do this instead. Guys, autocomplete is so good. I'm not sure if this is exactly what we want, because we are comparing floats. So I feel very uncomfortable saying that this will work, because I know that whenever we are comparing float numbers like this, it's like a big no-no. So we'll do the same trick that we did before, using an epsilon. No, epsilon is spelled with Y, hopefully. I don't know. It's like Greek or something. There you go. Well, that's a pretty small epsilon. I'll take it though. Make test. Mohammed is saying use check div method. Oh, all right. I'll do that. Is that a method of the floats? query.a. Oh, I see. Thank you, Mohammed. I didn't know about this method. That's wonderful. How to use okay, I think ChatGPT is pretty messed up right now. How to use check division by 0. So are you saying that this is a method of floats? Just like this? It's just my compiler is very bad. Let's see, test. This is method not found. Is it? How do you use it? Check div. Well, let me know in the comments, Mohammed, what you meant. But for now, I'm just going to check it like this. Maybe it's a little bit the way I'm checking it, but I think it will work for now. So let's see. Oh no, actually I'm not checking this properly. That's right. Okay, so I just got like a capitalization error. Nice. Is it doing the thing or not? Wonderful. Wow, this is great. So now we have an API that is fully tested. I think this is fantastic. So we covered the most common arithmetic operations. So like the 4 of them: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I'll push this up to the repository that I just created. Oh, but the punchline here is that if I set up things properly, we should have CI as well. So we'll see. Git add actix API, and what did I touch in the Docker Compose file? I want to show you how CI will run. I think I'm going to discard this change. Git checkout Docker Compose. Yeah, I don't want that. And let's push this up. So completed server, and I'm going to push this up. Let me just delete this. The rm division by 0. We don't want that. And let's see. Let's see if CI runs for this. It didn't, but that's okay. We're going to create a PR, git checkout, git checkout calculator, git push origin head. Maybe CI is not enabled in my repository. That's okay. We'll figure it out in a second. Right. Is it even the same repo? Let's see. Create a pull request. Well, we'll do. Okay, it's saying that the branches are identical. So I'm just going to make a small diff by like just going to a test and writing YOLO or something. That's your trigger CI. So I'm just going to come here and say just anything to change the contents of the file. And I'm just going to call it trigger CI, push it up. There you go. Hopefully this triggers CI. I think it should. Because we do have a, oh, there you go. Okay, fantastic. This is wonderful. So the beautiful thing is that it will run the same test that we ran locally using a GitHub action that I created. You guys are free, more than free to use them. These GitHub actions are wonderful. Now it's installing Linux and a bunch of things, but eventually we'll get to it. Well, this was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for sticking around. I believe that this has been the best stream ever. Thank you so much for your support, and also don't forget to join Discord so that we can have a closer interaction and you can like share your projects. We can collaborate. And Mohammed, we were on fire today, so thank you so much for sticking around and making this the best stream ever. See you next week. Bye.